and we hope that we give you lots of information about Select and about our schools, about our vision and where we're going. The meeting today is going to be broken up into 3 different sections. First of all, I'm going to do the introduction, and then Patrick Creed from Bridge Mills is going to talk to you a little bit about what Select has done so far, what we're going to be doing going into the next 2022 and onwards. And then we've got Owen Benny, who's from our Consul General from Brazil, who promised that he'll only speak for an hour and a half when we're all finished. So he said it'd be 10 to 12 minutes, so don't have to worry too much. So first of all, a huge welcome and a huge thank you to everybody who's given us their time this afternoon. We all know you all have very busy schedules, and we're just so delighted to have you all here this afternoon. I'd especially like to welcome the representatives that we have today from Enterprise Ireland and Education in Ireland. We've representatives from ASEC Roce in Spain, from Belta in Brazil, from AMTE in Mexico, and from Arese in Argentina. And Ireland are playing Argentina on Sunday in the Aviva Stadium to a full house of 53,000 supporters. And we'll all be especially excited because we beat New Zealand, the All Blacks, last weekend in Dublin. And it was a really spectacular and wonderful occasion. We also have representation from Quality English today, YALC, ALTO, Cambridge Exams, Equals, and QQI. And of course, we have agents from across the globe joining us on this call today. So as I mentioned earlier on, it'll be myself giving the welcome start, then Patrick Creed from Bridge Mills will go through what we've done, and then Owen Bennis, Consul General, will go through what's happening in South America and what's happening in the education sector across all of the different platforms. So again, to start off, and I know the big question that for a lot of people is what is Select and how we came into being and how it all happened. And I suppose, like a lot of things in Ireland, it came across that there was a few beers. I think at the ISEF workshop in Berlin, there was a few of us standing at the Marlene bar, having a chat about where life was going, and we sort of were sitting down talking about how we could make some of the things that were happening better, and what we thought about how the English language sector in Ireland was going. And it wasn't to replace anything that was existing there, but it was just to try to make what we thought maybe was a little bit of a difference, and maybe to disrupt a little bit what was happening. We sort of came up with a couple of different ideas, and one of the ideas was to replicate a UK grouping called 10, a very famous group of schools there, quality schools. And so we looked at what they did, and we were looking at what they did, but we also looked at what we could do better than what they were doing as well. So we came back, obviously energized from that, and we decided to move it forward a little bit. And we got nine of us came, 9 quality, premium, independent English language schools, all of us with similar backgrounds. We all offer similar range of products, and each of our members, each of the schools, the 9 schools, has a reputation for quality and personal service. We got together in Athlone and we had a meeting together, and we sat down and we sort of talked about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to achieve out of this. And we also talked about what we felt was missing in the sector in Ireland, and where we thought we could come together and share our experiences and share our knowledge. We're all members of either YALC, QE, Equals, QQI, and so we have a huge range of experience within our ranks. And we looked at one of the first things that we sort of all thought we could do a little bit better on was on the FAM trips. And again, having smaller numbers of people on the FAM trips, longer time, allowing the agents a bit more time to get to know the cities that they were coming to visit, but also to get to know the people in the schools and get to know the schools a little bit better. So we thought of expanding out on FAM trips and making them a little bit longer, but absolutely giving them the chance to learn more about the product and the people that are behind the product that we're offering in Ireland. We know that's something that the agents have been looking for. So that was probably our first thing that came up on our list of things to do. And then we looked at the area of continuous professional development in Ireland, and we felt there was certainly a gap that our directors of studies, we all have directors of studies, so you've got 9 schools with director of studies, and so getting those together and getting them going in the same direction, sharing best practice, sharing what we needed to do. And this was really, really very important, was that we all have a great skill set, but sharing our knowledge was really, really important to us. We also looked at our continuous professional development, not just for our directors of studies, but also for our marketing teams. We looked at our continuous professional development for our front of house staff, because they're a huge part and a huge role in what we do. And I think it was Mauro in Emerald who really coined it first and sort of said that, you know, the most important asset that any language school has is the people that work within the language school. So we took this as a really important foundation stone of where we were going with our CPD, and we built on that. And so we got our platform together, and we designed all of what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go. And we were energized about what was happening. And then COVID came along. So COVID hit, and it really put the brakes on what Select was doing and where we were going and what we were doing. You know, we were looking at, you know, the highest standards, customer service, professionalism, innovation, reliability, integrity. And these were all absolute key factors of where Select schools were at. But COVID came along and put the brakes on us. And as a group, Select, the schools, the 9 schools, started to meet every week. We all had the same problem, and we all had the same issues. But we all leaned on each other, we all cried together, and we all fought together to get us out of this awful situation. And I think I can safely say that for the first time, 9 competing businesses came together and helped each other out of all of these issues. We all worked together and were a shoulder to cry on and a crutch for all of us together. We got involved with the government, and we helped lead the sector forward in all the many areas, in the health and safety of the schools, human resources, and what was the best way forward. We also helped the government with the safe return for students and teachers to get back into the classroom. And Select, the member schools of Select, played a huge, huge role in making this happen. In Ireland, our Department of Education was split up into 2 new government departments, Department of Higher Education. And there was a lot of new staff in the Department of Higher Education that needed some guidance on where the sector was and where we'd come from. And they also needed our experienced heads to give them a background of what was happening. And we really felt that this gave, again, a lot of the schools who were involved on this call, you know, the 9 of us together, we were able to use our experience, our expertise, our long history in the sector to be able to push forward and help our government get out of this situation. The schools in Ireland remain closed for much longer than our schools in the UK. So we really only opened again in October for international students. So we've had a long time to get our procedures in place to make sure that all of the students, when they come back into our schools, come back into a very, very safe environment. And subsequently, we have very, very low, almost negligible numbers of any COVID cases in any English language school in Ireland. It's been quite spectacular how we've dealt with the COVID outbreak in the English language school sector. We still have staggered start times. The students are all still wearing masks. Windows are open. We've sanitation stations around the place. So we've all done remarkably well in fighting against this awful disease. You know, and I think that, you know, on a personal note, I'd just like to thank the other 8 schools for being so open and understanding and available to myself and my brother Jonathan for all of their help and guidance and support to us over the last 18 months. But as we move out of the pandemic and now into the endemic, I think that Select as a group is much, much stronger. We've all grown together over the last 18 months. We're friends, colleagues. we now have a much stronger shared view on where Ireland is going. You know, we now know that the direction that we want to take, select, and we now know where the vision of Ireland has to be. So again, about select. So we have 9 schools, 9 top class quality education schools. 3 cities, Dublin, Galway, and Cork. And all of the schools are either members of YALC, we're all equals, Marketing English Ireland, or Quality English. Again, these are external brands. We're also all members of QQI and approved by ASILS as well as our quality assurance body in Ireland. So we have several schools in Dublin. Dublin is the capital of Ireland and it's my hometown, I have to say. So we have a population of just under 1.5 million people in Dublin. And a really important figure about that figure is that 30% of the population of Dublin, or sorry, 50% of the population of Dublin is under the age of 30. It's a massively young, vibrant city. And on the left-hand side, you have a picture of the River Liffey on the presentation here. And just down the Liffey there is where the city started. The city of Dublin came into being 1,023 years ago. The Vikings came down the city and they set up camp just there at that big building on the right-hand side. And they gave the city its name because the river that comes down, there was a pool there and it was a very dark river. So they called it the Black Pool. And in the Irish language, black is dove and pool is linn. So it was the Dove Linn. And that's where the name of the city of Dublin comes from. It's an incredibly modern cosmopolitan city. We have nearly all of the highest tech companies, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, PayPal. They're all based in, they all have their European headquarters in Dublin. So it's a massively vibrant city for young people to live in. We're close to the mountains, close to the sea. 2019, Dublin welcomed over 11.5 million tourists to the city. 11.5 million people came to a city. So that's 10 times the population of the city visited the city. They come because it's a welcoming, safe, secure. It's been voted the friendliest capital city in Europe. It's a really incredible city to get to. We have a fantastic international airport that have links from nearly every European city on an hourly, daily basis. Lots of links from Europe, Asia, South America. Very, very easy to get to and a very low visa restriction issues. Our government, thankfully, is very, very pro-English language students and is helping us every step of the way to get international students back into Ireland, and they've been incredibly helpful making all of this happen. Dublin as a city has 4 universities. We have 8 other institutes of higher education and many, many private colleges. There's about 200,000 students studying in Dublin at the moment. It's an incredible city to live in. It's an incredible city to be in language school in. Our members in Dublin are ATC, and from ATC we have Ugo. Ugo's on the call there. You're going to say hello, Ugo? I think Ugo's on it. Ugo's in Kilkenny, so he might be knocked out. And Colm O'Byrne from ATC. They have a school in Bray, and they also have a school in South William Street in Dublin. There's Ugo. He's just appeared. You going to say hello, Ugo? There we are.
Hi there, everybody. Glad to see so many faces.
And we have Colm as well. I can just see Colm's just appeared as well.
Great to see you, Justin. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
So they're in Bray and also in South William Street, about 200 meters from the wonderful Grafton Street and St. Stephen's Green Shopping Centre. We have Atlas, we have Nico Dowling and possibly Alan from Atlas with us today. Are we there, guys?
Yeah, hi everybody. Great to see so many faces.
And right in front of Nico's wonderful school there is a wonderful canal, and he has great pictures of all the students sitting outside there in the summertime. So we're all quite jealous of the facilities that Atlas have and that absolutely stunning building in Dublin, in Portobello. It's a really beautiful building and amazing history. And then you have Centre of English Studies. We're in the very centre of the city. Jonathan is on the call as well. I think Jonathan and Michael may be on the call. So Jonathan, are you there?
Yeah, hello everybody, and thank you very much for taking the time to join us. And we're very excited about the team that's developed. All competitors, as I said to Owen, we spend most of the year trying to beat the heads off each other, but we've come together, and the potential is going to be very exciting. So looking forward to working with you all going forward.
And we're in the city centre. We have 3 buildings in the centre of the city. And then we have Mauro and Emerald Cultural Institute. And I believe Mauro and Scarlett are on the call. Scarlett O'Hara. Mauro, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. We are delighted to see you here, and we are really looking forward to welcoming back in Dublin and in Ireland as soon as it's possible. Thank you again, and hope to see you soon. Bye, everybody.
And is Scarlett around?
I am, Justin. Hi, everybody, and lovely, a real pleasure to see so many people join us today. Thank you. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Scarlett. And as you can see, Emerald is an absolutely stunning Palladian mansion house in Palmerstown Park. Beautiful, beautiful place beside the Lewis, 15 minutes into the city centre. Absolutely superb and a glorious location. And they have a beautiful block of classrooms behind that building as well. So, and a great cafe as well with wonderful coffee that Mauro is not allowed to drink anymore. He was drinking too much coffee. And then our last school in Dublin is the Horner School of English. Magnificent, just off Merrion Square. Beautiful, beautiful part, and very famous for the doors of Dublin. So we have Janice and David and Trevor from the Horner School. Are we there, guys?
We are indeed. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining us today.
And is David or Trevor there? I saw one of the other.
I'm here. Nice to see everybody on the call.
Hey, Trevor. So they're the 5 schools in Dublin. That's, you know, absolute all top class schools, great location, and all of us, I think our combined experience must be into the hundreds of years of English language training. So again, we have the best of language schools in the capital city of Dublin. So moving swiftly on to Cork. I mean, Cork is if you're from Cork, you call it the real capital of Ireland. Cork, and as we keep learning from Joelle, has the 2nd largest harbour in the world after Sydney Harbour. It's a beautiful, beautiful city and so easy to walk around. And it's such wonderful monuments around the city. Cork, you know, I would have grown up knowing Cork as the home of the merchant princes, which is where a lot of the trade from Ireland came out of Cork. So they have all of these wonderful Edwardian and Victorian buildings right around the city. They have a lovely opera house, and it's very easy to get out of Cork and to see the wonderful places outside of the city. You've got the wonderful Kinsale, which is, I don't know, it's got so many of the most top class fish restaurants in Ireland out that way. You have the Ballymaloo, which is home of the Dorina Allen family and all of the food that's there. And then just outside the city, you have Cove, where the Titanic left on its last fateful journey going to the United States, which is also the hometown of my brother's, his wife, Gronya's wife is from Cove as well. We won't hold that against the city. But out there as well, you probably have Photo Wildlife Park, which I think has been voted the best wildlife park in Europe. So it's a really, really incredibly beautiful city to get around. And it's so welcoming to visitors. And I think anybody who goes to Cork really sees the welcome, and they have a wonderful song and the voice, and it's a great place, and so many festivals happening in Cork throughout the year. So we have 2 amazing schools in Cork. We have ACET, Joelle and Odile Code, who've been around in the business for many, many years. Joelle, are we there? Can you see us?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much for being part of this, and we welcome everyone to the Select launch.
So Joelle even has reverb on the call today, a real rock star standard there. And then we have Mark from Cork English College in that wonderful building that features so prominently on the Irish news so often. Mark, are you there? That right beside Patrick's Hill.
That's right, Patrick's Hill. That during the famous Beast from the East, they were snowboarding down into us. Delighted to be here today and see everybody on the call. It's an honor, and we're extremely proud to be members of Select. Thanks a million.
Thank you, Mark. And then finally, we're into Galway, and you see they call themselves the Bohemian soul of Ireland. It's a really, really beautiful city, Galway. Population of 80,000, and I think you have to say it is the festival capital. The only issue I have with Galway is that the main street with all the shops has the wonderful name of Shop Street. You know, they couldn't think of a good name for it, so they called it Shop Street, but they have amazing restaurants. Absolutely an incredibly vibrant young city. I was looking at this earlier on and never realized that there's 42 medtech companies in the Galway city region. It's absolutely the world capital of medtech, and it really is ultra high spec, and there's so many great jobs that are available in Galway. Right across Ireland at the moment, in all of our cities, there's plenty of opportunities for students to work. There's plenty of opportunities for students to get onto the working ladder. Galway has some incredible universities. It's incredible nightlife, and it's part of the very, very famous Wild Atlantic Way. You know, I go down to Galway on my summer holidays, and it is the one place in the world where I have to say I feel the most relaxed and comfortable and at home. And I really, really love Galway. It's an amazing city, and it's a must for any visitor or tourist that comes to Ireland. We have two amazing schools in Galway. We have Atlantic Language College in the city centre just beside Eyre Square. John, are you there?
I am indeed. Thank you, Justin, and just thank you everyone for coming along today. On behalf of all the team and great staff here at Atlantic, we're delighted to be involved in this. So thank you very much.
And then finally in Galway, we have Patrick Creed from Bridge Mills. And even by looking at the picture, you just know that it's pure class, right on the river. And it's a stunning location for an English language school. Again, both of the schools in Galway are easy walking distance to everything in the city and are just surrounded by the best shops, restaurants, and cultural attractions. Patrick, are you there?
Hi, Justin. Thank you for the introduction. Hello to everybody here today. And Justin, special thanks for saving the best school for last. That was a really good idea. Well done. Hello from Galway.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So guys, that's the 9 schools that we have. I'm going to pass over now for the next few minutes to Patrick Creed, who's just going to go through a little bit about our staff training and what we have done and what we plan to do going forward into 2022. So Patrick, over to you for the next bit.
Thanks, Justin. Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Creed, and as mentioned, I'm School Director at Bridge Mills Galway Language Centre. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the training programs that we've been involved in and what we are planning in the future here at Select Ireland. As Justin mentioned in his introductions, a lot didn't happen during 2020, 2021 due to COVID, but that didn't stop us from moving forward and sharing our skills with the wider community that we work with, and also benefiting from intercommunication with that wider community. A number of events that we partook in this year are on screen right now, and we worked with some great partners around the world to assist us in delivering these events. Our academic training day in February, we ran in conjunction with Equals and Cambridge English Language Assessment, and that was very much about building our community of language professionals and sharing our language knowledge and skills with the wider community, and also learning from that wider community. And that was very much part of one of the things that I would like to promote for Select Ireland, that we are very much working with our colleagues to assist each other and to promote Ireland as a study destination. And as Jonathan mentioned earlier, we are competitors in Select Ireland, it's true, but I like to think that competition makes us strong, but cooperation makes us stronger. And cooperating together with the other schools alongside some of the events that we delivered certainly has helped strengthen the bonds within our school and the products that we produce. I'd also like to say special thanks here on the call today, Joelle Cutting, who's from Cambridge University Press and Assessment. They are cooperated with us in February, and we look forward to working with them in the future on future events. In April, we did a staff welfare training day for our own staff in Select Ireland schools. At that stage, we were still working online, and we wanted to do something to support our staff and the pressures that they were under in terms of working in isolated conditions or working from home. And we worked alongside Gardmy Insurance on that event, and Mark Sheeran is on the call here from Gardmy, and I want to say thank you to him for his assistance, and also thank him for his offer of working with us and cooperating with us in future on future events, which we will definitely work with him on. In June, we worked on some sales training with the assistance of the people at Galway Executive Skills Net, and that was very much about trying to upskill our own sales and marketing staff and to make sure that we were providing the best service we could to the agents that we work with throughout the world. And again, we would welcome your feedback from any of the agents who are on the call here today. If there's further training that we can provide or things that you think we can improve on, we want to learn from you too. So it's very much a two-way street in terms of us providing training, but also us learning from the community in which we work. And then October and November, we started with our marketing webinars. These were a little different to perhaps webinars that you've attended before, in that we were introducing our study destinations of Cork, Galway and Dublin. We were introducing the Select Ireland schools, and we were answering questions country specific for agents who may have questions about students traveling to Ireland. All of the webinars that we completed are on our Select Ireland YouTube channel now, and you can re-watch them there. We will be doing some more webinars in the future, and we invite you, if you're interested, to get in touch with us through the Select Ireland website. The events then ahead, things that we're looking forward to doing. As I mentioned before, we had some country-specific webinars already, and we look forward to doing those again right the way through 2022. So we'll be coming to a country near you, and we look forward to connecting with agents in those countries, answering any questions that you might have, bringing you up to date with the situation in Ireland, particularly the changing COVID events, but also other evolving events that are happening in our country. We also are looking to provide some future webinars and trainings around the area of teacher training and Erasmus. As you may know, many Erasmus students in the past have been traveling to the UK, but that has become limited in terms of access for Erasmus funding. And all of the schools on the call today here from Select Ireland are well experienced in teacher training and provide courses for teachers, Erasmus project courses, and we look forward to cooperating with each other and with you to recruit students into our programs into the future who may not be able to access Erasmus funding through the UK. And this is one of the, I guess, side effects of Brexit in terms of closing off some of those doorways, and we remain open and very much welcoming to anybody who wishes to come and travel to Ireland. Perhaps for the first time you may have connections of people who want to come here, and we would welcome them to the Select Ireland network. And also we're looking, as Justin mentioned, to do some familiarization trips into our 3 destinations, Galway, Cork and Dublin. We'll be looking to start those in April 2022, and we'll follow up with you towards the end of this year with more information on that. We look forward to welcoming you into our schools and into our cities and having some time to get to know us face to face, and we very much look forward to getting back to that point. We're also looking at collaborating together on a number of different professional development programs in our schools for all of our school staff, not just our academic staff, but our marketing and sales staff, our student support services. And we're also looking at developing some courses around connecting with foundation programs, which will allow students to avail of studies within our schools. And those foundation programs will be delivered across the 9 schools network, programs being recognized by universities as access to university programs. So instead of having students doing a foundation year or an access program in another country, we want them to come to Ireland. We want them to do their foundation program with us in Select Ireland, and then we will be connected to those universities where those students will hopefully go on to, and very much connect our courses and the quality of the product that we provide with the 3rd level and further education sector into the future. And that's very much about what Select Ireland is connecting with, and that is quality programs which provide good support and services for students, whether they're studying English or going on to study in further higher education or perhaps in the workplace. And then finally, I just wanted to talk to you about the teacher training sessions that we now have organized and will be delivering in 2022. What I'd like to highlight on this slide is that this is a program of 9 webinars which will be delivered across 2022, where each of the Select Ireland schools will be drawing on the expertise from its own academic staff to deliver this wide range of topics. And you'll see from the topics that are presented here that these will be suitable to teachers or academics who are working in primary school, secondary school, or third level education through the English language education community. And this is very much the community that I was mentioning to you earlier that we want to build and be part of and connect with from now on, from select schools outward and from you inward to us. There are a number of different projects that are listed here, or webinars that are listed here, which you will see and will connect with Erasmus funding. For example, in June, our own school, Bridgman's Go Language Centre, delivering a programme on 21st century skills, and you'll see in Cork in November, Cork English College delivering programmes on CLIL and global citizenship. And these are very much the kinds of programmes, alongside many of the others that are listed here, that will tick the box for students and teachers who are coming for Erasmus funding. Also, you'll see that there's a wide range of programmes for the modern classroom, in terms of the kinds of things that your teachers and trainers will want to avail of. Chris Farrell at Centre for English Studies in May is doing a talk on artificial intelligence and the teacher. And you'll see there from Atlas School, we've got fostering critical thinking, and critical thinking is very much something that's very present at the moment in terms of the development of the English language sector and English language training. And then we also have exploring online tools, because obviously a lot of us have been working online, and we'll continue to work online through Atlantic Language Galway in February. Going digital from the Horner School in October, again looking at the use of mobile phones in the ELT classroom, which is something that's very much part of what we do. And then other areas that are also of interest for teachers, including developing learner autonomy with Emerald Cultural Institute, project-based learning with ACET in Cork, and expanding vocabulary with ATC in Dublin. So this shows you the wide range of skills that are available through the academic staff at Select Ireland. These are the kinds of skills that we want to share with you for free on a monthly basis through 2022. More information will be coming out about that. And all of the events that we do, including today's event, will be recorded and posted on the Select Ireland YouTube channel, where you can continue to access this information later. If you're an agent on this call looking for marketing information, if you're an academic on this call looking for academic ideas to connect with your students, or if you're from one of our partners that we've already worked with and that Justin mentioned in the introduction, we continue to want to work with you into 22 and beyond along the lines of these kinds of programs, foundation program that I mentioned, training program for staff, and many other things besides. Thanks very much for listening today. And if you have any questions, please post them in the chat box. And of course, we will be in touch with you on a continuous basis from now on, now that we have our official launch, alongside all of these activities that we're providing into 2022. Thank you. Justin, back to you.
Thank you very, very much, Patrick. That was incredibly insightful. I'm going to leave that slide up there just for a little bit more, just to show the people on the call. We've 132 people on the call. The range of teacher training that we're doing for not just for our own staff, but also for sharing with other people who wish to pass this out. So either through the Equals network, the QE network, the ALT network, it's available. And it really just shows you how far Ireland is on the teacher training and how much we're investing in development of the teacher training right across all different areas. So really the last little bit for me to talk about today is just a little bit about courses. All of you, all of the agents, all of the people on this call know the programs that are available to us. What I would say about it is that the quality of the 9 schools really goes without saying, that we would be all identified as market leaders in the field in Ireland, and it's a guarantee of quality. And what we would like to say is that, like, if you're working with one school in Dublin and you need another school in Galway or Cork, or whichever way it might be, the similar quality and the similar welfare the students will get will be the same across all of the select group of schools. And that's really, really important to remember. The adult programs, we have the standard and intensive courses, business, English. But a big one that we're being more and more asked about is the university pathway programs. This really is for long-term students that are coming into Ireland. And many of the select schools have connections with universities. So the students can do the pathway program, move on to university or colleges right across Ireland. It's something that's growing and developing. And in Ireland, we are moving towards what they call the IEM, or an international education mark. QQI have just appointed a new person to roll this out and make this happen. Select will be front and center of this. We're already partnering with the various stakeholders on it. But Select will be working with our university partners to move this forward and to have more and more students going through a real quality university pathway program. And we see this as very much the future in Ireland of how the long-term students will be able to move forward. We have exam preparations courses, Cambridge, IELTS, OET, TOEIC, TIE, TOLS, lots of students coming to Ireland to do many different exams. Any student who's on a long-term program, which is a 25-week program, must do an exit exam at the end of their course, and they can do any of those exams that are there. Irish schools have been doing corporate training for generations, and really we work with banks, we've worked with insurance companies, governments right across armies, medical, you name it, we've worked with them. And Ireland is a great place for executives to come, bring their family, relax, do a very intensive one-week program and to move on. And so lots and lots of people love coming to Ireland. As Patrick touched on the teacher training, the Erasmus Plus, obviously the rules have changed in the last while, and the teachers are not allowed to go to the UK, which was primarily the market for Erasmus Plus. All of the Select schools are taking Erasmus Plus students. We see this as a growing part of the market, and I think it's probably the most interesting part and growth area that we're going to have. And just as an aside, for anybody who's aware of Equals, Ireland has the largest number of Equals accredited schools of any country. So there are more Equals accredited schools in Ireland than in the UK, than in any other country in the world. So Ireland is leading the way on quality, it's leading the way on quality assurance. So the agents that are out there can be guaranteed that the teacher training they're going to receive in Ireland will be the best. We have the best teachers, the best trainers, the best facilities, the best infrastructure, and of course, the best 3 locations for teachers to come to learn in our country. We do lots of specialist language training, aviation, medical, military, lots of that. The senior program is 50 plus. Now, I disagree with 50 plus anymore because I've gone past 50 and I don't see myself as a senior. So in CES, it might be a 60 plus going forward on that program. But it's a 50 plus program for Joelle because she's able to say that down in Cork. She gets away with it down there. And on the junior programs, I mean, this is where the business in Ireland really started off, was the English and Activity program. And we welcome students for 50 years, 60 years coming to Ireland on this program. It really is a wonderful, wonderful program. The students stay in homestay or in residential accommodation. And it's Ireland is known as a very safe destination. It's known as a destination where the kids will have a bit of freedom. They'll also be able to go out and enjoy themselves. The Irish secondary schools are all built like a campus system where the grounds around them, swimming pools, if they have a swimming pool, gymnasiums, arts and crafts rooms, computer rooms, all built within the school. And as I said, Ireland is a very young population. So a lot of the schools that the Select schools are using are new schools. So they're new secondary schools, which have all of the most up-to-date facilities and infrastructure in them, which allows us to expand out on the other range of programs, which is English and football, Valencia and Juventus. We have English and rugby, Munster and Leinster, filmmaking, journalism, horse riding, music, water sports, STEM. And then we have lots of our members are doing academic year or high school programs. So if your students want to go into a high school for a semester or for a whole year, talk to one of the Select schools and we'll be able to help you. We also, as you know, we have a lot of winter groups that come. Primarily in the winter, these groups are coming from Spain, Italy, and Austria, and we welcome these groups. And we're really looking forward to getting back to normal in 2022 to these groups, because we love welcoming to Ireland. We love welcoming to our city, because we again feel that Ireland is the perfect location for young learners, particularly in a short-term 1 week. They come in, come out, and they can have a really great week here. And one of the things as well about Ireland as a location is that the climate in Ireland is a very temperate climate. It's never very hot and it's never very cold. So most of the year it's very easy to walk around. So students who are coming from mainland Europe, where there's lots of snow and ice and freezing temperatures, come to Ireland, which is about sort of 10, 11 degrees most of the winter time. Even in Cork, they have the Gulf Stream coming across Cork, so it's probably a little bit warmer even in Cork than it is in Dublin. So it's the perfect location for your students to come. All of the select schools have the same vision, the same culture, making sure that the students who come to Ireland will be taken care of, looked after, will have the best teaching, the best facilities, the best accommodation, and we will stand over all of the products. You guys know us, you know what we can deliver, and we certainly are a group of 9 schools who want the best for your students and your customers. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment now, and I'm going to pass over now to Owen. And Owen, oops, jumping on there from Owen, I can't see him there. I'm going to pass on to Owen now, Owen Bennis, who is the Consul General for Brazil. And it's all yours now, Owen, for the next hour and a half or whatever you want to speak.
Thanks, Justin. I can assure everybody on the call that while I could, I won't speak for an hour and a half, but I will try to keep it brief. But just to initially say, I guess, good morning to those of you joining us here in Brazil, like myself, and across Latin America and North America. I think it's a good afternoon to all of you joining us from Ireland and across Europe. And if I'm correct, it's good evening to those of you joining us from Asia and beyond. A really special welcome to all of you from myself at Ireland's Consulate General in Sao Paulo. And for me and for the Select Ireland Group, it really is great to see so many agents joining us for today's launch. Wonderful also to see colleagues from Education in Ireland, Enterprise Ireland, joining us from Ireland and also from their offices in Brazil. I guess in normal times, events such as today's offered us a wonderful, a unique opportunity for people-to-people contact, to meet up, create new and renew existing friendships. However, virtual exchanges like this one today are vital in allowing the conversations to be heard globally in a way that benefits all of us. To quickly introduce myself, and as Justin just mentioned, my name is Owen Bennis, and I'm Ireland's Consul General here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I guess, why am I here talking to you and not somebody else? With close to 16,000 Brazilians traveling to Ireland to study English on an annual basis pre-COVID, you will appreciate that the English language sector in Ireland is a high priority for both the consulate in Sao Paulo and, of course, our Irish Embassy in Brasilia, together with our colleagues in Enterprise Ireland and Education in Ireland. Of course, the pandemic has had a huge impact, as it has globally. As Justin remarked, it resulted in the brakes being pulled across all sectors. Arriving in Sao Paulo, Brazil, during the height of the pandemic in August 2020, I've seen this firsthand, this impact. Equally, and more importantly for me, during the last 18 months or so of COVID, I've witnessed firsthand the incredible level of cooperation and collaboration in Ireland's English language sector. Irish government departments, including our Department of Education and Skills, the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, and my own department, together with Ireland's state agencies, Enterprise Ireland and Education in Ireland, Ireland's embassies and consulates across the globe, and most importantly, the English language sector themselves have collaborated, including Marketing English in Ireland and, of course, the Select Ireland Group launch we are here to mark. All have come together in an impressive and determined manner that will ensure that Ireland's English language sector bounces back and does so in a more sustainable and more professional manner than ever before. But more on that shortly. A special word of thanks I should mention to Jonathan Quinn from CES and John Daly in Galway at the Atlantic Language School for their invitation to me to speak here today. As I mentioned, it's a real pleasure. It's an important day for Ireland's English language sector in Ireland, a sector that is a priority for the Government of Ireland and a sector that holds both a strong personal and professional importance for me. I will speak to both over the next few minutes. I should also acknowledge here that the English language sector in Ireland has built itself up over the last 40 years or so, with a number of those schools now forming the Select Ireland Group, very much the founders of what is a quality and vibrant sector. Indeed, as Consul General, I have had the opportunity to speak with many Brazilians who have and who will and who hope to travel to Ireland to learn English. Listening to their stories of the past and ambitions for the future, I have heard firsthand what has brought them to Ireland, many of which illustrates Ireland's attractions as a premium education destination. I will also touch on these shortly, but I can confirm, notwithstanding Justin's comments, that the Irish weather was not one of them. I mentioned the fact that the English language sector holds a personal importance to me. Over the last 10 years or so, I've met with many Brazilians who came to learn English in Ireland. Many of these have become very close friends as we bonded over countless conversations, culture, food, and a shared passion for soccer. They even taught me a trick or two. On meeting with these Brazilians, I was struck by their genuine love of Ireland and their real sense of belonging to a community who introduced to them by the many wonderful and dedicated English language schools across Ireland, including those from Select Ireland. In fact, and if you will allow me to share, one of those Brazilians who attended Atlas Language School in Dublin is now my wife. She too made that special journey to Ireland, found a country waiting to greet her and a country whose openness ensured Ireland became a home from home for her. When she speaks of her time in Ireland, there is a genuine warmth, a genuine sense of appreciation for what Ireland has given her. She speaks of the diverse classroom settings, the countless interactions, and the excellent learning environment. Of course, she speaks too of Guinness, of Ireland's Atlantic Way, the cliffs of Moher in Galway, Dublin's Phoenix Park, the jazz festivals in Cork, along with her own sense of humour and fun that captured the hearts of many from across the globe who chose Ireland as their home from home, who chose Ireland as their school of English. Most importantly, she speaks about all of this in perfect English. I've witnessed these connections more recently at our consulate in Sao Paulo during our first in-person event since the beginning of the pandemic. This event was focused on learning, on professional development, but importantly, it was about conversations, bringing together a number of Brazilians who had studied and lived in Ireland over the last decade. I must admit, I felt a little homesick listening to their stories, hearing them speak with such energy and excitement of their time in Cork and Galway and Dublin and elsewhere. There was even time for a quick debate on which city was the best. Some strong arguments were made by all, but with the consensus agreeing that each city has their own unique identity and attractions that, when added together, ensured a lifetime of memories. Reflecting on this, it's no surprise to me that so many return to their homelands with lasting friendships and lasting links to Ireland. In turn, these links and friendships have had an incredibly positive impact on Irish life, which can be seen and felt across the length and breadth of our island. This includes the many who choose to remain in Ireland, those who move into the higher education space, those who took up work and excelled in the many international companies who have made Ireland their home, including in Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Stripe, Indeed, and many more. I know that the same is true of the lasting connections between Ireland and many other countries online today, with richer and deeper links forged between us through English language learning in Ireland. Turning, if I may, very briefly to the pandemic. The impact of COVID has been very real and very tragic in so many ways, with its impact felt by each one of us. However, watching Ireland's doors, indeed the international doors, open again in recent weeks and months has energised us all. Across all sectors of society, we have had to redesign, rethink, and reinvent ourselves. The English language sector in Ireland is no different. Listening to Justin and Pat just now, one is left in no doubt the Select Ireland Group has achieved this. As a group, Select Ireland did not let the pandemic paralyse it. Instead, they were both patient and resilient, using the time to build back better in order to be able to reaffirm the fact that Ireland is a premium destination for English language students. In doing so, they have cooperated, collaborated, and received the backing and support of some of Ireland's key stakeholders in the sector, including Enterprise Ireland, Education in Ireland, and Marketing English in Ireland, who have all joined us for today's launch. Indeed, today's launch comes at an opportune time. The vaccination programme in Ireland is regarded internationally as being one of the most successful. This, together with the resulting relaxation of measures, has meant that English language schools in Ireland can offer in-person classes once again. As Ireland begins to welcome students back to our island, we do so in the knowledge that first, we can keep your students safe and well. Secondly, and as we have heard today, we can offer international students a greater level of professionalism focused on their learning, an education journey underpinned by commitment to excellence. To touch on the professional importance of the English language sector in Ireland, which I mentioned at the outset. Here in Brazil, and I know many of our friends from Belta will be aware of this, the news of Ireland's reopening is spreading quickly, with the consulate and our embassy in Brasilia receiving many messages from Brazilian people asking when they can travel to Ireland to study English. To give some background, Ireland has increasingly been a priority destination for Brazilians and is currently the third most popular education destination ahead of the UK and Australia. Brazilians choose Ireland for several reasons, and I would like to speak to some of them and to some of the most notable. The first, our quality of teaching. Brazilians share the same belief as the Irish that education provides the essential foundation for social and sustainable development. Ireland has one of the best education systems in the world, ranks in the top 10 globally as having a higher education system that meets the needs of a competitive economy, and it is internationally renowned for academic success. Students in Brazil undertake a lot of research ahead of planning an exchange and are very much aware of this. They are eager to secure high tuition standards, professionalism, and innovation in their studies, which Ireland is committed to providing. The advent of the Select Ireland Group, with its strong focus on professionalism, excellent customer service, and reliability, will further cement Ireland's status as a high-quality destination for education. With country-specific webinars, teacher training, professional development for staff, and one initiative that I'm extremely happy to hear about, the University Pathway Programmes, Select Ireland are demonstrating a commitment to your students, their needs, their journey, and their time in Ireland. Indeed, Ireland also welcomes the opportunity to engage in all educational programmes, focusing on internationalisation. We are an active participant in the world's largest study work abroad programme, Erasmus+, which the Select Ireland Group are very much involved with also. To the next, our location. Since Brexit, Ireland is now the only English-speaking country in the European Union and part of a global force with a population of close to 430 million. It is easily accessible to other countries in the bloc at an affordable cost. In addition to one's learning opportunities, our locations present obvious work and travel opportunities, which are an incredible attraction to students. For those wishing to work in Ireland, there are also countless opportunities, with many of those studying English in Ireland also seizing upon these. Our commitment to education, research and knowledge has seen Ireland become home to 9 of the world's top 10 ICT companies, 8 of the world's top 10 pharmaceutical and life science companies, and half of the world's major financial services companies. As mentioned earlier, many of the world's leading companies, including Google, Facebook, Stripe, and LinkedIn, have chosen Ireland as their home. We are a European hub to over 1,000 leading multinational companies and have a proven track record as a successful location for leading and high growth multinationals from around the world. We are also proud, very proud of our beautiful country and our cultural diversity. Traveling within Ireland is very easy, very accessible. Our cities are also very safe, with an effective public transport system. At a relatively short distance compared, for example, to travel in Brazil, students can visit natural attractions such as the Cliffs of Moher, all the while living in cities boasting rich and diverse cultural scenes, with theatre, museums, galleries, music, art, sport, and gastronomic festivals all on your doorstep. Ireland also brings together with many different cultures into classrooms, workplaces, and social settings, which offer invaluable opportunities to form bonds. Of course, with the Irish people, who have many cultural attributes in common with Brazilians, but also with those from many other corners of the world. As I draw to a close my remarks today, I wanted to quickly reflect over the last year and a half of uncertainty and challenges brought on by the pandemic. During this time, I've seen Ireland truly embrace our Irishness and embrace those across the world who share that same sense of Irishness. In doing so, we have been reminded of Ireland as a nation of storytellers and poets, musicians and performers, and very importantly, saints and scholars. Ireland has a very rich, innovative and creative culture and has been the home of creative writers and independent thinkers for centuries. This deep-rooted culture of creativity and of problem-solving has made us stand out on the global stage, with Ireland boasting no fewer than 11 Nobel Prize laureates in the fields of literature, physics, medicine and peace. Ireland, of course, as you know, is home to some literary heroes, including William Butler Yeats, George Bernard Shaw, Samuel Beckett, James Joyce, and Seamus Heaney, to name but a few. Friends, in these times of uncertainty, as we deal with the challenges, including from COVID and Brexit, there is a great demand amongst students for schools that are highly respected, quality accredited, and professional. Key to Ireland's global impact is this innovative capacity of our people and their determination and ambition to not only adapt and survive, but also to succeed in a fast-changing world. It is for this reason that I'm so delighted to be here today with the Select Ireland Group, a group who are showing this ambition, who are showing this real commitment to excellent and new ways of thinking. I look forward to seeing you grow and to working with you all in the period to come. To those of you joining us from overseas, we want Ireland to play a role in your educational journey. We greatly value the links already developed, and we are eager to build on the strong and rich relationships that exist with our global partners. Following what has been a hugely successful journey so far with you over the last number of decades, and with ambition to develop further the internationalization of our education sector, Ireland looks forward to exploring new opportunities for increased and new long-term reciprocal collaborations. the Select Ireland group will play an important role in this. To finish in thanking Select Ireland and for their invitation to speak today, and in congratulating all of you on today's launch, I'm reminded of the words of Ireland's literary greats, one of Ireland's literary greats, William Buckley Yeats, who remarked, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." To the Select Ireland group, continue to collaborate, continue to build, and continue to play a key role in the students' educational journey. Keep that fire lighting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Owen. Really super, well done. Super. And I think incredibly fitting that we should end on the quote from one of our great and wonderful poets from Ireland. On behalf of ATC, Atlas, CES, Emerald Cultural Institute, Horner School of English, ASSET, CEC, CLC, Atlantic, and Bridge Mills in Cork, I'd like to say on behalf of Select, a huge thank you to everybody for joining us on this call today. There was 132 people who stayed on this call for the duration, which is quite incredible. I'd like to extend a huge special thanks to Owen for his wonderful comments at the end. Really, truly, greatly appreciated. And I think you encapsulated how we all feel in Select about how important it is to keep education going and how important it is to keep that fire in what we are doing going forward. And we are all dedicated professionals and dedicated to making sure that Ireland as a destination is number one for students to come and learn English, for teachers to come and learn English, and for students to come on our pathway programs and go to our universities and onto our college. So on behalf of Select, to everybody who's joined us today, I'd like to say a huge thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. If you do have any questions, please email us at info@select.com. We're delighted to answer any of the questions that you might have. And we look forward to welcoming you and working with you in 2022 and obviously 2023, 2024, and going on into the next 20, 30 years. So thank you all very much and have a lovely end to your Thursday and have a lovely weekend. And thank you all a lot. Kate Mila Folger. Thank you.
Justin, I just had a few quick questions if I could address them just before we finish up. Is that all right?
Almost got away.
Almost got away, yeah. Just a few quick questions, just in terms of, that's come up a few times, Mark, in Cork English College, if you're there, the recording for the event, we're recording the event and it's available, that's correct?
Yes, that's correct. We'll make it available once we finished.
Yeah, and the email address for Select queries on the website, and our website is on screen at the moment for some of the questions that people had, specific questions about specific countries and visa entry. So if you can address those there. John Daly, if you're still there, can I give you a quick question? There was a question which I think is quite a good suggestion. Will Select be providing an online repository for marketing materials for Select Ireland schools?
Yeah, I think it's actually a great suggestion. And look, we have an awful lot of shared material that we would like to get out. So definitely we will be putting that in place for agents so that we'll be able to get materials efficiently across to them.
Brilliant, thanks, John. And a couple more questions there. Janice, if I can go to you in the Horner School. There was a question about FAM trips, familiarization trips that we mentioned earlier. Do we know when the first one will be and when that information will be available?
Well, we're all really hoping that we can do something around the 19th of May, 2022, if you'd like to put that in your calendar. We're hoping that we will see you here in Dublin and we can organise an evening. I think Jonathan had some good ideas that he was voicing to the rest of us. So we'd enthusiastically welcome you all and meet you on the 19th of May, 2022, hopefully. Yes.
Thanks, Janice. Thank you. Two more questions then before we go. Nico in Atlas, if you're there, there was a question about can Select schools assist students studying across different Select schools in the summertime?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is one of the reasons that we came together, that if a student wants to spend some time in Dublin and then go to Galway or Cork or vice versa, and we all work together, and as Justin has said, the students will get the same high quality across all the Select schools in the different locations.
Great, thanks, Nico. And Joelle in ACET in Cork, I'll give you the next question if that's all right. We're just asking about our Select Ireland Schools exam centres for students. Joelle, are you there?
Apologies, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you now. Yeah, Joelle, just the question again, are Select Ireland Schools exam centres for students?
Yes, we are, and most of us are Cambridge accredited centres, testing centres. We also offer TOEIC, there's TOLS, OET, IELTS. So we have quite a broad and wide range of examinations that you can take at our schools.
Great, Joelle, thanks. And the final question then, I'm giving this to Maro, if you're there at Emerald Cultural Institute. Maro, in terms of the webinars, the country-specific webinars, does Select Ireland have a plan for questions around Colombia, and will we be offering a webinar on Colombia?
Absolutely. Colombia is a country that we like to focus on, and there is also a lot of dialogue with the government, with the authorities to ease the visa process over there. And we are committed to Colombia, and we would like to bring Colombian students here because it's something that it's very important for us. Thank you for asking that question.
Thanks, Mara. Thank you. Okay, those are all my questions. Again, there are some more questions coming in, specific questions, but if you can send them on to us at info@selectireland.com or check out the Select Ireland website, and we'll be happy to answer any further questions that you have there. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Patrick, and thanks for all those questions, and thanks for all those wonderful answers, everybody. Again, on behalf of the 9 Select schools, a huge thank you for everybody who joined us today, and we look forward to working with you and cooperating and partnering with you in 2022. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Justin, will you be able to stop sharing there? We might be able to see our people in.
Oh, there we go. How about that?
Yeah, can we see them
there
all?
We are.
There
Hello,
we go.
everybody.
A big wave.
Yeah.